everyone, it's Alicia here from We to 3 with my first bump date. I am officially 4 weeks today, which means I am going to start my bump dates, and I am so excited to tell you guys all about the stuff that I've been feeling. I am going to include some of the symptoms I felt before I got my big fat positive pregnancy test, as well as the things I've been feeling all week. And I count my weeks probably a little differently than some people do. I just turned 4 weeks today, so I'm doing this at the start of my 4th week, not at the end. Just a disclaimer, that's how I like to count my weeks. Makes me feel more fulfilled. So let's get right into it. I'm trying to make these as quick as possible because I have been filming for a long time today and I don't want you guys to have to watch a 20-minute bump date video. So, symptoms of this week. Started probably 4 days past ovulation for me, and the first symptom that I had of pregnancy, and you're all gonna think I'm insane, was vivid dreaming. I am a big dreamer when I sleep. I remember my dreams a lot, like very often I remember them, and I also happen to have them frequently. Like every night I have dreams that are either really weird or I don't know, it's just I have a lot of dreams, and it doesn't really surprise me that the first thing I had was extra vivid dreams that felt super realistic. My first day that I marked it was again 4 days past ovulation, and it's the first thing I have. It's the only thing I have for that day that I started to notice. 5 days past ovulation, I started to feel a pulling and like twitching, and sorry if I'm glancing down, I'm reading off of my book. A pulling, twitching, kind of like fullness in my uterus. And let's see, I had a backache and I'm starting to get really irritated at everything. I was super irritable every day leading up to my BFP. So that was something that just stuck around after it started on 5 DPO. On 6 DPO, I started having kind of like cramping and fatigue and an increase in my appetite and just, again, irritability. Just feeling really mad at everything. Day 7 is pretty much the same thing, you know, the cramps, being fatigued. I marked again that I had vivid dreams that day as well and started to have some like uterine twinges and also had a backache. So all of those are pretty similar and kind of continued all the way until at least 10 to 11 DPO. 11 DPO, I still remember having a really bad backache, really bad lower back pain. Now that it is, let's see, going to be 4 weeks on Thursday, today's Tuesday, so I have been having a food aversion kind of thing starting. The day I got my positive, I totally rejected the idea of eating one of my favorite breakfast foods, which was huevos rancheros, and I could not even handle the idea of a runny egg yolk that day, which should have been a clue. I mean, really. Things that just usually would sound super good, or I'd go to eat them and then all of a sudden kind of just stop eating them because they aren't as good as I thought they were. I also have had, starting yesterday, some serious constipation. Just comes with the lovely territory. And starting today, I have also had some mild nausea. I have officially eaten my first ginger chew of my pregnancy, which were a huge thing for my last one. In my last pregnancy, I'd never had morning sickness where I would like throw up. I would just have it just like this constant nausea in the background of like eating and just doing your daily routine things, which was actually a little more frustrating. It would have been nicer if I could just throw up and then be like, oh no, I don't feel bad anymore. No, my morning sickness last time was like, oh, just all day kind of feeling like flu-y. So I'm hoping actually that I will get sicker and that I will be more of the type to just throw up and then feel better and not have the all day kind of gross feeling. But I have, like I said, eaten my first ginger chew to try and like alleviate the nausea. I find that the ginger chews really help and they're delicious, so I'm all for them. And as far as symptoms, I think that's it. We'll do an update on the baby and what size the baby is and everything. Let's see. I think right now the baby and the pregnancy apps that I'm using to track this are the Ovia, the Sprout, and the What to Expect app. I use all three kind of in conjunction. Baby is the size of a poppy seed. This week it is just, like I said, starting to embed itself into the uterus, and just little tiny things are starting to develop. There's not a lot of stuff going on quite yet. That will change over the next few weeks. As far as an actual bump, way too early. It is 4 weeks. I do not have one of those. Any bump that I have is purely bloat at this point, so we don't need to show that off. But every week I hope to kind of tell you guys where I'm at as far as what my symptoms have been, how the baby is, and what's developing in it, and give you guys kind of a preview of the bump. I also would hope to share with you guys a little bit about what I read each week. If you can't see them, there's a huge stack of pregnancy books by my bed, and I'm just kind of gonna start picking some up and reading a couple, and each week I'll kind of describe what I've been reading about and what I've been looking at as far as pregnancy as well. This week, the biggest thing has been changing my doctor's stuff altogether. So I had been seeing my reproductive endocrinologist. That stops as soon as you get pregnant, so my first thing was to go to my regular OB. After she found out that I would eventually like to deliver with the midwife group at the hospital, she sent me over there. So my first midwife appointment is September 10th, and that will be kind of like my intake appointment. I'll be 6 weeks by the time we get to that. So until then, my naturopath is overseeing my medical care as far as like my HCG pull, like my blood draws. She's taking care of all of that, and she's the one that's going to be prescribing the progesterone supplementation. So she's kind of the person I'm seeing. She's like my general provider, and then starting at 6 weeks, I will be going to see the midwife group. I am hoping to get scheduled for an earlier ultrasound with the midwife group for like a viability ultrasound. I would like to have that at around 7 or 8 weeks. Versus earlier, just because if my blood work is okay and like everything else seems okay, then I'm not too concerned about it. The only thing that I think would be helpful to have an early ultrasound for is to confirm that it's not ectopic. There is a slightly increased risk when you do use fertility drugs to have an ectopic pregnancy, and that's the only thing that I'm a little bit concerned about. Nothing like I'm, staying up at night worrying about it, but it's just like something to keep in the back of your mind that we do want to check sooner rather than later that it's not ectopic. And that's about it for my bump date this week. Thank you guys so much for all your love and support about our pregnancy. I'm just over the moon. I cannot even describe to you in every video how awesome this feeling is of finally getting pregnant. I also just want to say, like, just keep fighting the good fight to all the girls out there trying to conceive still. There's so many of you that I hope to keep just supporting and giving me my love to, and I totally know how it feels to have someone in the community get a positive. It's so great because you feel like there's more hope for you, and it's also just crushing sometimes. And I totally understand if some of you don't want to follow me anymore and don't want to, participate. I won't be offended. You do you, boo. Like, I'll still follow you. I still want to know when you eventually get pregnant or, what you're up to. But please, if you need to unfollow or like ignore me for the next 9 months, I totally understand. And don't feel bad. Like, please know that I totally understand where you're coming from. I think that's it. I will see you next week for my 5-week bump date. Hopefully by then we'll have some more information about my blood work back, which will be great. And I will have started the progesterone supplements and be starting to read one of my first pregnancy books. So you can look forward to all of that at the next bump date. Love your faces. I'll see you then. Bye.